Hello everyone, welcome back. Day 6 of 100 Day Practice Challenge by Makiko Hirata. I had a request to do this in Japanese as well, so こんばんは。6日目100日練習挑戦です。平田真希子です。I've been talking a lot about being honest to yourself. The daily practice of piano as a way to feel what you're feeling, to look at what you're seeing, to listen to what you're hearing, to be just mindful and aware, and to face what you often overlook in your busy everyday lives. So this morning I was thinking how tensions develop sometimes in order for us to avoid feeling what we don't want to feel. So what happens on the piano is, when you play inside the piano, so what happens is there's usually 3 strings for most notes, and then when we strike the key, the hammers strike the strings, right? But if the hammers stay with the string would stop vibrating immediately, so it would go right like that, right? The sound would stop. So the hammer actually has a mechanism to go back a little bit to let the strings vibrate freely, which means that if we have our fingers on the keyboard, because the dampers stay up as long as we have the key down, the strings would keep vibrating, but our pressing the key after we strike it would do nothing. But emotionally, we want to hang on to keys, for it to make a crescendo maybe, or whatever. But when we are actually hanging on to things, we are actually, because we are so intent on something, we are actually not feeling, not hearing as well of what's actually going on. So that's another way of being more honest about what you feel and what you hear, and to realize the music. Okay, so today I'll keep working on the latter half of Ave Maria that I have been working on for the last 2 practice sessions in front of the camera. And I will use it to show you different ways of tackling technical challenges in a piece. Okay. So this is the latter half. This is hard. As soon as I hit the B flat, I have to move here. So again, space here, diaphragm, breathing, lower center of gravity, and just sing the melody and enjoy graceful movements in the body. what's difficult here the distance between the notes are quite large, but you want it to sound effortless, right? Like a snowflake coming down from the sky, right? And then you want the melody to be less resonant, and you want it to sound like a voice, which is actually impossible on a piano, because the sound decays as soon as it's struck, but you can create illusions by the supporting sound. And also, so because we have so many notes, we tend to be much slower than actually a singer would sing it. So Ave Maria. You have to think about a natural breath length, right? And if it's more expansive than that, people who are listening to it, who are subconsciously singing with the piano part, would feel a little bit out of breath after that one phrase. And we don't want that. We want everything to be sort of flowy and not hard. I don't want the accent. Graceful movements and sing. So this is a good exercise. When you have a long melody, you want to think about how you might sing it. Ave Maria. And then you can emulate that by playing repeated notes on the melody, the held melody. So when I go from here to here, I sound like I'm in a hurry, and I don't want that. I don't want anything to be in a hurry. I want this to sound sort of celestial. So that's a lot better than yesterday. But, so my goal here is that I don't want this to sound like somebody shouting, right? I want this to sound like 1,000 people or angels singing sort of easy, right? So because there are 1,000 people, it's kind of accumulatively loud, but the feeling is that it's just like somebody just breathing naturally, and it just naturally comes out. Okay, so it's not perfect. So I'm gonna show you different things you can do to practice. So, okay, first you have to identify what makes this passage difficult. What makes it difficult is the speed, right? So you can eliminate the speed and then do it very, very slowly, and then analyze all of your movement. This is what I did in the previous practice session, where I had my eyes closed, felt the distance between the notes, and then trained myself to be able to do it tactily, and engaging my large muscles and making sure that my distance was consistent, right? So with the speed, what's difficult is the volume. In order to create a certain amount of volume, you have to assert a little bit of a force at least, right? So if you eliminate that, if you play everything very, very softly, it actually becomes easier. So drop the speed, drop the volume. Okay, the other thing is, so to play the entire thing from the beginning to the end without a mistake is harder. But if you identify the part that is particularly difficult, in my case, the coming back down, for some reason, I cannot explain why. I can't explain why. Okay, because the thumb is getting in the way. But anyways, so you practice coming back down more than going back up, obviously, right? And then if you were to just take that passage and then analyze every movement, what does make it difficult? In my case, what makes it difficult is the thumb on the E flat. So thumbs obviously are shorter, so they have a harder time on the black keys, because then the whole hand has to go inside, right? And then so playing a key is like this. So you have like a thing that's long, right? And then you want to press it to go lower, right? Is it easier if I were to press it here or here, right? Obviously here, right? And then so you want to play as close to the edge as possible. But when you're having to put your thumb on the black key, this becomes not possible, right? And so you're forced to play inside the keys, which is harder. So as soon as you finish playing the thumb on the black key, you want to get it out of the way and then get your hands as close to the edge of the white keys again as possible. But this becomes kind of harder when the thumb is repeatedly on the black keys. And then what you do is you slip it down so that it comes down as quickly as possible. So my wrist is higher so that I can do this. Aha! That's easier. That's better. Okay, now. Aha! Thank you. So when you find a difficult spot, you really analyze it and eliminate everything but the challenge, and then think about how to solve it. In my case, it was to make the wrist higher and then sort of slip the thumb under as quickly as possible. Drop the speed. So I'm too focused on my right hand now, so that my left hand misses notes that I don't have to. It's not that hard. The left hand is relatively easy compared to the right hand. So to even my concentration, I again need distance, physical distance from the keys, so that I don't lose perspective, literally. The other thing is, so when you're focused on the hand that has the more difficult passage, your other hand that has an easier part also gets tense. So sometimes it's actually better to shift your focus to the hand that's doing something easier, so that the other hand relaxes as well. So in my case, if I were to focus on my left hand right now, if my theory is correct, then my right hand would relax more and it would do better. Let's see. So it worked. Okay, so focus on what's easy, and sometimes when in a real performance, what I should be focused on is the melody. Much better. Okay, that was good. If I may say so myself. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play the whole latter half. So relax, breathe. Don't hang on to anything. Just listen and enjoy. Space here, space here, space here. Wings opening up and in, open, in. Anyway, you know what? I can do this better. Still a work in progress, but thanks for watching. Doing this with you is actually really turning my practice around, and this is an unexpected thing, but I really appreciate you watching. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.